YouTube, what is up, guys? So today we have a very fun prediction video because we have a very fun night of fights this Saturday. We got UFC 246 coming up. The main event is Donald Cerrone versus Conor McGregor. We are going to break down from the top of the prelims all the way to the main event. If you are new to my channel, my name is Dylan Kowalski. I'm a retired MMA fighter. I've been MMA coaching, though, now for 7.5 years. I still coach 6 days a week. I have a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu and Karate, just to show you my certificate in case you don't take my word for it. And I literally coach corner fighters 6 days a week, all different types, from Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, Karate fights, MMA fights, kickboxing, literally, wrestling, literally everything. So, I've been in the game for a long time, but this is still just my opinion, so just take it for what it is. And we are going to start at the main event of the prelims, work our way up to the main event. First fight we are going to talk about is Roxanne Modafferi versus Macie Barber. This is in the women's flyweight division. Now, if you don't know who either of these girls are, Roxanne Modafferi has been around forever. She's been on the Ultimate Fighter twice. I believe Macie Barber was only 5 years old when she made her UFC debut or her MMA debut. I think Macie was only like 5 years old. So Macie's way younger. She's 9-0. She's one of the youngest people in the UFC. And she's on that bandwagon, and she's trying to be the youngest champion. Now, her last fight was pretty impressive. She got dropped early in the fight and then came back and won. Roxanne also had a very good last fight. She fought Antonina Shevchenko, Valentina's sister, and she beat her. Most people thought Shevchenko was going to roll right through her, and she actually beat her. Roxanne's quite well-rounded, kind of. She's really good on the ground, but she sucks at getting the fight to the ground, and her stand-up is not, like, it's very unorthodox. It's not that effective. It's not that horrible, but it's not that great either. She gets hit a lot. Macie Barber definitely has more power, but I think the jiu-jitsu advantage definitely goes to Roxanne. I think this is like one of those styles makes fights, and I believe this isn't a good fight for Roxanne. I don't think her wrestling's good enough to get her to the ground, and I don't know, I can just see Macie Barber hurting her, TKOing her in the first round. Unfortunately, I don't like Macie Barber. She's too cocky. I don't like her whole trying to fight Paige Van. She just annoys the shit out of me. I don't know about you guys. I can't stand this bitch. I hope she gets knocked out, but I think she's going to win. Honestly, if I was going to bet on it, I would pick Macie Barber. Also, too, if you are going to bet and you don't know where to bet, I recommend using betdsi.com. That's where I always use. And with the code down below, you can get a free $25 with your first deposit. So if you want, you could like deposit your money, make a bet with the free $25, and just cash your original money you put in out, and then you got a free $25 to bet with. Win-win. Or you could just, go crazy and keep betting, whatever. Don't go too much of this. Crap's addictive. Okay, so we're going to go right into the main card from there. First fight in the main card. This one is really good. So we got Anthony Pettis versus Diego Ferreira. Now, Diego, this dude's a beast. He's listed at the favorite at 250. So for like every dollar you bet on Pettis, if you won, you would win 250. If that makes sense to you. Pettis, former champion. The biggest difference I see here is Ferreira's more of a technical fighter. He likes to set everything up, while Pettis is very much, he looks for that one big shot. He tries to knock you out with that one big shot, and I can see that being his downfall here. I think Diego is just a little too fast for him, a little more technical. Now, I could be totally wrong, but I'm going to agree with the odds makers here, and I actually think that this is Diego's fight to win. So I'm going to say Diego by decision. I think it's going to be a good fight. But I do see him just getting the better of the exchanges, throwing more combinations, and setting more stuff up, using his feinting, his footwork, and that's just how I see it going. So I'm going to say Diego is going to win that one. Okay, then we're going to go into the women's strawweight division. We got Claudia Gadelha and Alexa Grasso. Now, this is a very good fight. They both have very similar records. Both of them kind of need this fight. It's they're right up there. They're in the top of the division. They're both trying to make their stance for a title shot. I personally am going to go with Alexa on here. I think Alexa's got a little more of like a mental edge, and I think this sport is a lot more mental than people tell you. Like the levels people are nowadays are so close. Everybody is so good. Just a lot of times it's the person that comes in with the better mental edge that is going to take it. And just seeing how Claudia acted after I was at UFC Chicago when she fought, and I don't know, just seeing her, the way she was acting after her fight and stuff, and like, I mean, the whole crowd was booing because everybody thought Carla Esparza beat her. It was like the worst decision ever. It was a split decision that went to Claudia. But just the way she was like, I don't know. She wasn't like, if I want to fight like that, I'd be like, yeah, well, they gave it to me, but I didn't really deserve it. You know, she was like the opposite. She was like, oh yeah, I won that. I don't, you know, no, you guys are idiots. I won that fight, you know, type thing. I don't know. I didn't like it, and I think, I don't know. I think when you can't accept the things you did wrong and learn to, like, you know, move, win, lose, or draw in a fight, you gotta move on to the next one. You gotta take your lesson, no matter what it was, learn from it, and I feel like she's not the type of person that really does that. So, that being said, I'm going to go with Alexa on here. I think Alexa's going to win. If I had to guess, I'd say submission by, like, second round armbar would be my guess. But who knows? But next one I am really excited about because we were going to the heavyweights. This one, we got Alexi Olynyk, the boa constrictor, versus Maurice Greene, the crochet boss. So, Maurice Greene, they call him the crochet boss because he likes to crochet. And he makes, like, hats and stuff for his opponents sometimes and stuff. Alexia Olynyk is, like, the only person in UFC to get an Ezekiel choke submission. He's got, like, 4 of them. He should just change his name to the Ezekiel choke. They should announce him coming out of the red corner, Ezekiel choke. Because that's what he's going to do. I think, honestly, he probably is going to take Maurice Greene down right away. Or try to, at least. Because his stand-up's not that great. And Maurice does hit pretty hard. But even if you just look at the records, like 57-13, the dude's got, like, 75 fights. I mean, come on. The other guy's got 11. So I think as long as Alexia Olynyk takes his time, keeps his hands up, trying to get to the fight ground, doesn't just rush in and get caught, he should be able to win this fight pretty easily. So I'm going to say first round, Ezekiel choke for the Ezekiel choke guy. That's what I would say. So, all right, now we're coming up to the last 2 fights. So the co-main event, a lot of people are talking crap about this. Like, why is that the co-main event? They shouldn't be the co-. But actually, I think this is a great fight. I think this is a very, very intriguing fight. We're at the women's bantamweight. We got Holly Holm taking on Raquel Pennington. Now, both of them have lost to Nunes. Raquel Pennington hasn't fought in like a long time because she tore her ACL in that fight. If you don't remember, she didn't want to get off the stool going into the 4th round. Her coach like basically forced her to get off the stool. And then when she started fighting, she got knocked out, cut, and tore her ACL. So she would have just quit. I mean, she would have lost the fight either way, but at least she would have had all these excess injuries. And when your fighter checks out like that, the last thing your coach ever should do is send you out there. The fight's over at that point. If you mentally check out of a fight, you're done. You're no matter what. Like I said before, this sport is very much mental. And a lot more than the average person thinks. Being someone that's been in there before, this is very, very stressful, and it's just learning how to deal with your emotions. But if you are in a fight and you mentally check out, the fight's over. Like, you're never coming back from that. And I see they both have very similar records. They both really need this win, but I think Holly is a little more, she's a little tougher, a little grittier. She's mentally stronger. I can see, Holly might get knocked out. She might get submitted. But she's never going to quit on anybody. And as a coach, that's the only thing you can ask for your fighter is don't you ever fucking quit on me. And I see that for Holly Holm. I think once you quit once in a fight, you're more likely to do it again. So the way I see it is if this fight starts going good for Raquel early, yeah, it'll probably go good. But if it's back and forth and Holly starts to edge her, I see this going. Holly's just going to take her over, and who knows where. I mean, who knows where Raquel's at? This might be one of her last. Who knows how much longer she wants to do this? We'll just see. This is a very, very interesting fight. But I'm going to have to say head kick knockout, Holly Holm, round 2. So we are now here at the main event. The thing you guys have all been waiting for. Donald Cowboy Cerrone, versus Conor McGregor. If you don't know, I hate Conor McGregor. I've always hated Conor McGregor. Team Habib fan. So basically, I used to do MMA and stuff before UFC was even popular. Like I was competing before most people even started watching it. Like they were still on like UFC 50 when I had my first fight. Like they wasn't even in the first 100 yet. Now they're on 246. So like, I don't know. Like when I had my knee surgery and I wasn't fighting, that's when Conor McGregor started like taking off. And like, I feel like the UFC is just it's not as cool as it used to be. It used to be like the number 1 guy fought the number 2 guy, and it was like a legit sport. Now it's like a popularity contest, and like who gets title shots, who gets this. Oh no, you get a title shot, and you get a title shot, and you get a title. It's so stupid. Then there's guys like Tony Ferguson, he's a 12-fight winning streak, just finally now getting a title shot. I feel like McGregor single-handedly kind of like messed this whole sport up, and made it kind of suck for the the hardcore fans, like the people that actually fight. It's not as cool of a sport as it used to be, but I still love it and everything. That being said, none of that has anything to do with how the fight's going to play out. So let's get into that. Now, there's keys to victory for each one of these fighters. Now, one difference that I see a lot of people breaking down these fights, I don't see anyone talking about. Conor McGregor, most of his background as far as his stand-up is very, very karate-based. He did a lot of traditional martial arts. If you watch how he stands, everything. I'm a black belt in karate, so I see a lot of these things. If you notice, some stuff Conor McGregor does, a lot of the same type of stuff people like Macie used to do in his prime, or Stephen Wonderboy Thompson does. And he's very much fluid. He likes to move around. He's got that wider stance, likes to keep one hand down, because the reason he keeps the hand down is tries to get you to throw so he can slip and try to counter. Well, he's lefty, so he usually comes and counters with the left. And he also kind of looks more for like one big shot, where Cerrone is very much a Muay Thai fighter. He keeps his guard up like this. He's very heavy on his back leg. Well, he kind of mixes it. He's kind of the taller stance. He likes to check kicks, all that good stuff. And I would be really surprised if Cerrone right away doesn't just throw like a 1-2 roundhouse, because he's done that over his career. That's like how he starts most of his fights. The problem though is Cerrone usually, his first round is like a feeler. Like he feels them out, and then he usually comes out harder in the second round. But he can't do that against Conor. Conor's a very fast starter. Conor's like Jorge Masvidal. He comes out like a bat out of hell. He's right off the bat, right away. So the keys to victory for Cerrone are to use his reach advantage. First off, Cerrone is 6'1". McGregor is the same height as me. So McGregor's 5'10". Cerrone's got a big reach advantage. And then when you factor in the length of their arms and leg, that reach really means a lot different because they're opposite stances. If they were the same stance, it wouldn't be as much. But because they're opposite stances, both their jab hands are at each other. Both their push kicks are at each other. And being that he's a Muay Thai fighter, he's going to be a little better at using those push kicks or teep kicks, whatever the hell you want to call them, and keeping McGregor away. So that's what he's got to do the first round especially. He's got to keep McGregor away and kind of slow down the fight, because McGregor's going to try to come at him like a buzzsaw. Like, that's just how he is. So Cerrone, that's his main key to victory. Well, the main thing is to take him freaking down and submit him and beat the shit out of him on the ground, because McGregor, every time anyone puts him in any submission, he doesn't even try to get out of it. He just taps like a little bitch. And Cerrone is like a very high-level black belt, submitted a lot of people. If this hits the ground, it's over. Like, it's over, for sure. But, that being said, Cerrone might not take him down. Cerrone might be fucking stupid, and just, like, want to get in a firefight. Now, that being said, with that front leg, how it's going to be a bigger reach advantage, especially for Cerrone, at keeping McGregor away, especially early. That same thing can be said now about their power hands, because their power hands are farther away, that they're going to generate more force. So by the time they clip each other, it's going to do a lot more damage. So Conor's key to victory here. If I was going to give Conor one tip on how to win this, right away, feint something with your hands to get Cerrone to react, and then throw a kick as hard as you can to the body. If he can hit Cerrone with a body kick early, Conor's also very good at snap kick. Snap kick is like a push kick, but you throw it with like a flick. It's more like when you throw a teep or a push kick, you're trying to make distance to knock your opponent back. Snap kick is more like a boom, like when Silva knocked out Vitor. A lot of people called that, it was actually a snap kick is what you call that. And yeah, when you just boom right up the middle and just crack them. McGregor's very good at this. He's also good at spinning attacks, so like spinning back kick to the stomach, anything like that. If Cerrone gets hit with that early, he's going down. Cerrone, very early in his career, he had some of his colon and his intestines removed from a motorcycle. It was either a motorcycle or ATV. I think it was an ATV accident. And he had, so that's why, like, when you watch the Pettis fight, Pettis, right when the fight starts, Pettis kicks him in the stomach and he crumbles like a brick, Like, Cerrone can take a lot of shots to the face. He's a very tough dude, but he cannot take those body shots. He doesn't have the organs, or there's not as much organs, like, protecting his liver, your colon and all that stuff. It all, like, your liver is, like, your biggest organ in your whole body, and it's one of your vital points. And your liver is one of the most important organs, like, to keeping your body functioning. That's why when you get hit in it real hard, your body goes down. Well, if you don't have any extra shit in front of it to, like, pad the blow a little bit, it's all going to your liver. So if Conor hits him in the liver, especially early in the fight, it's not going to be good. As Cerrone starts to go in the fight, you'll notice in his fights, like, when he gets going, his body gets warm, he can take a little bit more of those shots to the body. Still, it is definitely a vulnerable spot for him. So those are the two keys to victory. For McGregor, he needs to kind of he needs to use his footwork and use his feints to set up his kicks. Use his punches and his feints to set up kicks. You don't want to just go in there throwing some blind kicks because this is the guy that can take you down. Cerrone has very, very underestimated wrestling. George St. Pierre, he used to train, like he would do half his camp with Franz Zahavi and half of it with Jackson Wink. And when he trained at Jackson Wink, they asked him, like, who surprised, is there anybody here that, like, surprised you with anything? Or, like, you know, and he said Donald Cerrone took him down, and he's like, I didn't even think the guy was a wrestler. He had amazing, like, he took George St. Pierre down in practice. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, it's GSP. That being said, who knows if Cerrone will shoot a takedown? He might want to just stay, you know, he wants to put on a show for the fans. He's just a crazy son of a bitch. Who knows? So, it's all going to come down to if Cerrone fights smart and does what he needs to do to win. Because he keeps saying, like, well, I like standing, that's why I want to do it, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, because it's fun. Well, you know what else is fun? When you win and they raise your hand and then you get a bunch of money. So that's how I see it. But if I'm going to bet on this, actually I am going to bet on this. I think I'm putting $40 on Cerrone. Just because he's a big underdog too. He's like a 250 underdog. There's a lot of 250 underdogs on this card. Now I'm going to put some money on Cerrone, but I wouldn't be surprised if Conor does this. I just hate Conor, so I want Cerrone to win. I don't know. I hope he hits him so hard that his hair falls out. I don't know. But yeah, long story short, this is going to be a great fight. Great night. If I were you, this isn't the card that I would like. Well, I never do this anyways, but I wouldn't like just watch the main event. I watch the whole card. Like, get some friends together, get some beers, get some pizza, whatever, and sit down, watch the fights. Because there's a lot of people on this card. You might not know them now. After these fights, you're gonna remember their names, and especially on the we didn't go through the prelims because I don't want this video's already 17 minutes. I don't want to make it any longer. But yeah, there's a lot of good fights from this card all the way up. So if I would highly recommend, even though you don't know who any of if you don't know who any of these people are, still watch them anyways. A lot of times those are the best fights anyways. But yeah, I'm hoping Donald can pull this off, and I don't know. Hopefully Conor goes back to boxing or something. Who knows? Oh yeah, and leave our sport, and that'd be perfect. So in a perfect world, Donald Cerrone, head kick knockout, boom, round 2. Ba-ba. That's what I'm gonna say. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please smash that like button. If you agree with me, let me know down below. If you disagree with me, let me know down below. And also too, after the fights, you can come, oh, I told you that wasn't gonna work, or you can say, oh, you were right. You know, whatever. We'll see what happens. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what other videos you want to see. I appreciate all the support. Don't drink and drive this weekend or ever.